Hello and welcome to Sci-fi Night LIGHT, where I just basically talk about random topics that somehow relate to sci-fi and horror. So, unless you've lived under a rock, inside a dumpster, in a cave, on the moon, then you've probably heard that Deadpool was a huge success. So, despite this being kind of a lesser known character amongst mainstream audiences, and of course because of it being R-rated,
You look like the inside of other people's assholes.
this was quite a risk for major studios. But, luckily for us, it's so far earned over $330 million off of a $58 million budget.
Oh, there's the money shot, baby.
So, I can understand if a film just wasn't your style, but after seeing it, I was more like,
I'm touching myself tonight.
I fucking loved it. But this video isn't really about Deadpool.
No.
It's about what Deadpool's success means for genre films like sci-fi and horror in general. So the most obvious takeaway from this is that a film doesn't need to be cut down to a PG-13 rating to be a financial success. Previously, many clueless studios and production companies figured that by making your film more widely available, by making it PG-13, that would mean that more people would see it.
We'll see about that, Posh Spice.
Hey, idiots! Here's our tip. If your movie is good, people will want to see it. It's that simple.
Thank you.
So this obviously doesn't mean that everything should be rated R, but it's a great incentive for movie studios to put faith in an R-rated cut of a film, or to give more financial backing to a horror film with some blood and guts in it.
Exactly.
And of course, like I said, it's about being a good movie, not an R-rated movie. But sometimes a horror film needs to be R-rated, otherwise you end up with something like the remake of Prom Night, or One Missed Call. But in all fairness, those movies wouldn't have been saved by some extra blood. All in all, this is a sign that some movies can succeed and be popular despite violence. I mean, just look at Terminator, Predator,
You're one ugly motherfucker.
Jaws, Alien. The list goes on, and all these are true classics, and guess what? They're rated R. Trying to chop down your film in hopes that more people will see it is as short-sighted as it is stupid.
It's the stupidest I've ever heard.
Another reason why the success of Deadpool is good for genre films is because it's kind of a different film. Violence aside, it doesn't follow your traditional type of protagonist, both in terms of personality.
Posh falls over the crowd as rookie sensation Deadpool lines up the shot. His form looks good.
And of course in visuals. Also, most of the film is told in kind of a flashback and it bounces back and forth a bit. Think about it, most major releases are very clear in terms of how the story is structured. This is an ever so slight incentive to try to mix things up a little bit. Lastly, this is a clear-cut sign that it's not the size of a budget, but the quality of a production that matters. Now, compared to a lot of other films, $58 million is a big budget, but not when it comes to major studio releases. So think of it this way. Like I said, Deadpool made $330 million on a $58 million budget. I mean, the earnings were more than 5 times that of a budget. Now compare this to some major studio releases. Transformers Age of Extinction made $245 million, but it costed $210 million to make. The piece of shit The Smurfs movie made $142 million, but costed $110 million to make. So these big Hollywood films don't always do that well financially when you compare their earnings to that of their budget. Hopefully, this will give production companies the balls to split up their budgets a bit. Instead of making one big money remake or adaptation for $200 million, you can make 5 or 6 smaller budget films, and hopefully with some more original ideas instead of just remaking Titanic or something. If production companies take this advice to heart, we could see so much more original sci-fi and horror content come out. How about a couple more films like It Follows, The Babadook, Moon, and Edge of Tomorrow? It's so easy for a studio to look at an original idea and say it is too much of a risk.
Because that's a real thing.
But Deadpool is clear-cut proof that you can do wonders with a small budget as long as the cast, crew, and production all come together. And if you do, you'll get a film that's tighter than the spandex around Deadpool's ass. So that about does it for this episode of Sci-Fi Night LIGHT. We hope you enjoyed it. As always, I'm your host, Sebastian Mendel Martinez, and I'm signing out.
How many fingers am I holding up?
0.
Trick question. 0. Get back in the swing.
Attack this, little one! Attack this!
I think Deadpool may have been drunk.
We're gonna fight crime?
Maybe. Yes.
Maybe start a little crime? Just hold on to this for me, please.